Hi everybody and welcome back to A Dinosaur in the Library. I'm Dawn and thank you so much for tuning in to listen to me ramble about books. So tonight I am doing a very special video because I have been tagged in something and I'm very excited because I've never been tagged in anything. I know I've only been on here a very short period of time, but it's very exciting to me. So a big huge thank you to Sarah over at Crawford Reads for tagging me in the Sisterhood of the World Bloggers tag. And I will do a little explaining and then I'll do the tag. So this tag is a little different from the other ones I've seen. So what happened is Sarah tagged me and 9 other vloggers on BookTube and she gave us 10 questions. And so each of us has to answer the questions and then tag 10 other booktubers and come up with our own set of 10 questions for them to answer, which is really cool. I'm having a little difficulty coming up with my last 2 questions from my tagged people, but I'll get them done before this gets posted. So I will go ahead and answer my 10 questions. And then at the end of the video, instead of reading out my questions and reading out all the tags, I'm just going to link them down in the, I'm going to link all the people I'm tagging in the box below. And I'm also going to have the questions there. And I'm going to do my best to remember to put this on my actual blog. I intended to start tying posts to videos in that blog, but I haven't done so yet. And one reason is school, and one reason is that I'm just a terrible, terrible blogger. I forget. And I think of things to write, and then I don't write them, and yeah. So I'm going to do my best to try to remember to do that. But in any case, they will be all linked below, and I will just get started. And I've got them all written down in my handy-dandy moleskin notebook here. So I'll keep looking down at it periodically. I'm not looking away from you. I'm just trying to read my questions. So the very first question is, do you prefer physical books, ebooks, or audiobooks? And my answer to this was a resounding physical books. I am a huge diehard fan of physical books. I don't necessarily have anything against ebooks and audiobooks at all. I know some people prefer them, and that's wonderful. But for me, there is nothing like the feel of reading an actual physical hard copy of a book. And I have read ebooks before. As I've said in other videos, I read ebooks when there is no other option. I have found some that just don't have a physical copy. You can only get them in ebook, but that's been few and far between. And the last one I read, I think, was the Map of Time. And as soon as I found out I could get it in physical form, I immediately bought it and reread it in physical form, because for me it's an entirely different kind of experience. And I've only ever listened to one audiobook, and I'm supposed to listen to one more this year, my second one ever, because of the Book Riot Read Harder Challenge. That's one of my challenges, and I've already got one picked out, I think. I just haven't had a chance to really sit down and listen to it. So there's that. Alright, so question number 2, what is your favorite book to read in the winter? I don't really have a seasonal kind of reading schedule. I know a lot of people don't want to read anything that has to do with Christmas or winter or, anything like that as much as possible, as if it's not winter or Christmas or whatever. I've never had that issue. I'll read Christmas books in the middle of July. Doesn't bother me. But, however, there is a book that, though I read it occasionally other times in the year, just because I love it so much and it's a really quick read, I always read it at Christmas, and that is The Best Christmas Pageant Ever by Barbara Robinson. It's a kid's book. Like I said, at most it takes an hour or so to read. Really quick, but really cute, and that's pretty much the only one I could think of that I read on a seasonal schedule. So book 3. Question number 3. If you could take a road trip with any character, who would it be? The immediate answer to that is Thomas Builds the Fire from Sherman Alexi's fiction. He's mainly in the short stories. He was in the short stories that they based the movie Smoke Signals on, so he's in that movie. I love Thomas Builds the Fire. He is one of my top 5 literary characters I would invite to dinner with me, because holy crap, he would tell the best stories ever, which is why he's coming on the road trip with me. If Thomas was real, He'd be the best friend ever. I love him. I love him so much. If you haven't read Sherman and Lexi's short stories, Thomas Builds the Fire is an excellent character in those, and he is a storyteller, and they're amazing. The collection, Tonto, The Lone Ranger and Tonto Fistfight in Heaven, has at least one, I think, at least more than one, though, actually, story that he's in, and you should go out and read them right now. So, number 4, if you are a writer, what are you working on right now? If you are not a writer, what kind of book would you like to write if you were? And I'm going to go ahead and answer both of these questions. So, technically, I am a writer. I do have a bachelor's in creative writing, and I've written poetry and, creative nonfiction my whole life. But because of my program, I really don't have a whole lot of time to work on that right now. I try to jam in some poetry every now and again. But for right now, what I'm mainly doing is writing papers. I just finished one on Saturday. And I took a break from writing the one that's due on Wednesday to make this lovely video. So, but if I were able to just sit down and write whatever I wanted, I would be working on some poetry. And I would also be working on a memoir about growing up with OCD and growing up gay in rural Alabama. Let's see. Number 5, what is your favorite book published in this decade so far? So far, that's going to have to be Libriomancer by Jim C. Hines. I absolutely adore this series, and I've rambled on about it interminably in other videos, so I will leave you alone about it, but just say, go ahead, read it. There's 3 books out. There's at least one more coming. You're going to want to read this. So, number 6, are you open to reading self-published books? If so, do you have any favorites? Absolutely, I'm open to reading self-published books. Just because something hasn't gone through the classical mainstream publication houses does not mean it's not wonderful. I've talked about my friend Anna Schubarth's book, Salerno, before. I love it. There's also a book called The God of Lost Dreams that I won as a result of a Goodreads giveaway. It's a self-published book. Amazing. I absolutely love that book. And there's several others I can think of. The Bob Moore series, which I actually read. The first one is an ebook because it was only available as an ebook at the time. So there's my ebook story. A book called Strange Things and Hamsters and Strange Things. I can't remember the exact title. I'm so sorry. I think the last name was Proctor. I will look that up. I'll link that below. I love those books. And I'm actually going to do a self/indie published video at some point in the future. So I will go on about those again. Number 7, what is your favorite book to movie or book to TV adaptation? I thought long and hard about this because there's a lot that I love. To Kill a Mockingbird with Gregory Peck as Atticus Finch. Oh my God. Brilliant. I love it. I love the work of Jules Verne, so of course I like Journey to the Center of the Earth and 20,000 Leagues Into the Sea, things like this, but I'm going to have to go with The Time Machine, and that would be the original Time Machine starring Rod Taylor and that fabulous, fabulous model of the Time Machine itself. I love it. I do not, however, like the abomination that is can't remember what year it was. I want to say like 2002, somewhere in there. May have been a little later. Remake of the Time Machine. That I hate. I keep saying I'm going to give a second chance, but I just absolutely hated it so much that I haven't been able to make myself watch it again. So maybe in the future. No pun intended. So, what number am I on, guys? Number 8. About how many books do you own that you have not read yet? I did not do a count for this, simply because it would probably upset me. But as I said a few videos ago, I had at least 35. And if you count all the books that I've got in my January haul and in the small February haul that I did, which I'll be making a video for probably next week, you're looking at a minimum of 50 and an absolute maximum of 100. There's no way I have more than 100 that I haven't read. No way. So somewhere between 50 and 100. I'm thinking it's more toward the middle of that range. But at some point I'll do an absolute count and let you know. So number 9, what is the 17th book on your bookshelf? Starting on the top shelf, not counting the very, very top shelf with the Harry Potter collection. Starting on the very, very top shelf, the books that are actually put in the bookshelf the way they're supposed to, not stacked up in front here. That would be Nosferatu by Joe Hill, because we have mystery followed by horror on our shelves up there. So, yes, excellent book. Joe Hill is amazing. Go check him out. So, and the last question, what is your favorite sequel? And I answered this 2 ways. So, one of my favorite series is The Vampire Chronicles by Anne Rice, and my favorite one of those, which is technically a sequel, would be Memnoch the Devil. And then my favorite one that's the second in a series, so the most technically a sequel answer, is Map of the Sky by Felix J. Palma, which is number 2 in the Trilogia Victoriana, which I've talked about before. So those are my 10 questions from Sarah over at Crawford Reads, and thank you once again for tagging me. Enjoyed making this video and doing these answers. I've already picked out the people that I'm tagging. I've got to write 2 more questions, and I'm going to put all of that material in the box below. And, you know, please do this tag. It's a whole lot of fun, and I hope everybody that I tagged doesn't mind that I tagged them, and I hope that you all enjoy doing the tag as well. And like I said, next week I will probably be posting a February book haul, because goodness knows I do not see myself being able to buy any more books this month. It just doesn't need to happen, guys. And so I'll probably go ahead and do that haul video next. And then the next week, either the next week or the week after, I'm hoping to have a very special video, but I will make an announcement about that when it gets a little bit closer to time, and I'm absolutely sure that I'll be able to do it. And I guess that's pretty much it. So I hope everybody had a wonderful week this week, and I hope the next week is just as wonderful, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.